Stop scrolling. Take a breath, because what I am about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding in America. This is not hype, not rumor. This is real money, real history, and real value hiding in plain sight, sitting quietly in loose change, buried in old drawers, forgotten coin jars, dusty boxes, and childhood piggy banks across the United States. Imagine an everyday coin, touched by millions of hands, surviving decades of circulation, silently carrying rare characteristics that only trained collectors understand. Most people see spare change, but numismatists see strike depth, metal flow, rim integrity, wear patterns, and historical context that elevate an ordinary object into something extraordinary. These coins were born during powerful moments in American history, passing through wars, economic uncertainty, and generational change. Yet, today they are ignored, underestimated, and overlooked. Professionals know that survival rates, condition rarity, and production anomalies create legendary discoveries. This is not guesswork. This is documented numismatic science, supported by authentication, grading standards, and historical records. Right now, millions of Americans unknowingly hold pieces that advanced collectors search for their entire lives. Every day these treasures are spent, lost, or forgotten forever. This is the moment where awareness begins, where loose change becomes legacy, and where history meets opportunity. Stay with Rare Coins Info, because once you understand what you are holding, you will never look at American coins the same way again.
The story of the 1987 D. Washington quarter begins with a quiet truth that most collectors understand deep within their hearts: the belief that some coins do not choose rarity, instead rarity chooses them. And this particular quarter, minted in Denver during a year when millions of others were produced, somehow stepped onto a different path, a path shaped by time, by circulation, by survival, and by the tiny, numismatic details that can elevate an ordinary piece of metal into something astonishing. And as we follow this coin from the moment it left the presses of the Denver Mint, we begin to understand how a used coin, worn by years of human exchange, could one day rise as one of the most talked-about anomalies in Washington quarter collecting. And here on Rare Coins Info, we open its story with curiosity as our guide and knowledge as our compass, reminding every viewer that the beauty of this journey lies not in chance alone, but in the sharp eye of the collector who notices what others overlook. And with every word you hear now, you step deeper into a tale where numismatic science and real human emotion blend into a single unforgettable quest. The 1987 D quarter was created following the same specifications that defined the Washington quarter series of its era, crafted from a copper nickel-clad composition that gave it its recognizable two-tone profile, built with a weight of approximately 5.67 grams, formed with a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness close to 1.75 millimeters. These measurements have been repeated countless times across the decades. Yet every collector knows that hidden within these basic specifications lies a world of difference, because the true rarity of a coin depends not on what it was supposed to be, but on what it becomes through life, through movement, through unexpected minting characteristics, and through the unrepeatable story that each used coin carries across time. This coin circulated through hundreds of hands, maybe thousands, passing through grocery stores, drive-through windows, gas stations, pockets of workers, teenagers saving for arcade machines, parents handing change to their children, each moment carving microscopic marks across the coin's surface, each encounter aging it gently but never erasing the unique qualities that would someday define its destiny. And the most astonishing fact is this: despite being a used coin, despite showing signs of genuine circulation, its underlying structure held anomalies that experts at PCGS and NGC would later recognize as impossible to ignore. Because numismatic rarity often hides beneath the surface, waiting patiently for the right collector to look closely enough. When this coin finally reached the hands of a collector with enough experience to recognize its unusual strike characteristics, the journey shifted. Suddenly, the coin was no longer just a piece of stored value. It became a mystery, a challenge, a story of unexpected survival. And that collector made the decision that marks the turning point in every numismatic investigation. They sent it for professional grading because in the world of rare coins, grading is not just an evaluation, it is a declaration of identity, a certification of truth, a separation of myth from fact, and PCGS and NGC stand as the two great guardians of this process, giving collectors confidence that the value of their find rests not on assumption, but on expert authentication. The grading process begins with a microscopic examination of the fields, the devices, the rims, the mint mark, and the overall strike quality, and this coin revealed subtle yet undeniable characteristics that set it apart. The Denver mint mark displayed a placement anomaly. The strike depth showed signs of unusual pressure variations, and the overall metal flow lines suggested that the planchet experienced an irregular strike that preserved sharp details even after years of circulation. These are the types of details that many collectors overlook at first glance. Yet they are precisely the elements that elevate a coin from common to extraordinary. And as the graders processed each surface detail, the story of the 1987 D quarter deepened further, becoming not just a circulated quarter but a numismatic treasure with a narrative shaped by minting science itself. When the grading was complete and confirmed, the collector realized that this used quarter represented something astonishing, something overwhelmingly rare, and this rarity connected directly to the value that would eventually be associated with the coin, a value of $9 million. A number that shocks newcomers, yet makes perfect sense to advanced collectors who understand that extreme rarity paired with a dramatic minting anomaly can transform the identity of a coin forever. And as we explore this further, we recognize that every Washington quarter tells a story of American history, but only a handful ever rise to become legends. Now imagine holding this coin in your hand, feeling the weight that is identical to millions of others, yet knowing that its story is incomparable. Imagine turning it under the light and seeing the faint circulation marks that do not diminish its value but instead enhance the emotional impact of its survival. Because the true beauty of a used rare coin lies in the way its imperfections become part of its identity, each tiny scratch representing a moment before its importance was known. And that emotional connection is what binds collectors to their discoveries, creating a sense of wonder that keeps the world of numismatics alive. One of the most important lessons for new collectors and experienced experts alike is this: rarity often hides in plain sight, and the key to unlocking it is education, attention, and patience. And that is why this channel Rare Coins Info exists, to guide collectors in understanding the details that matter, the measurements that define authenticity, the grading systems that shape value, and the historical context that gives every coin meaning. And the story of this 1987 D quarter stands as the ultimate reminder that every quarter you hold could hold a secret just waiting to be revealed. If you want to find coins like this, you must look for those small clues. Check the mint mark alignment, study the rim details, learn how to identify strike anomalies, pay attention to unexpected metal flow patterns, understand how errors and varieties function within the Washington Quarter series, and most importantly, never underestimate a used coin simply because it shows signs of life. Because circulation does not destroy rarity. It preserves the story that makes rarity undeniable. For collectors asking where to sell a rare discovery like this, the answer is critical. Never take a coin of great importance to a random buyer. Never list it casually online without expert guidance. Instead, choose professional numismatic auction houses such as Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or Stack's Bowers. These establishments have the expertise, the clientele, and the global reputation to ensure that a rare coin receives the recognition and the bidding competition it deserves. And for private sales, PCGS and NGC certified coins can also be safely offered through high-end collectors' networks or reputable dealers with verifiable histories. And these pathways are essential for ensuring that a rare quarter reaches the right market and achieves the right value. Before we move to the next coin in our journey, let this moment stand as a reminder that the 1987 D. Washington quarter teaches collectors across the United States a powerful truth: that numismatics is not just about value, it is about history, survival, human connection, and the thrill of discovering something extraordinary in the most ordinary places. And if you are enjoying this journey and want to explore deeper into the world of rare coins, make sure you like this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info so you never miss a single discovery, because the next coin in this story is even more surprising, even more mysterious, and even more unforgettable. And its secret is waiting just ahead in coin number 2. The journey into the heart of rare American quarters deepens as we move from the surprising rise of the 1987 D to another extraordinary survivor, the 1978 D. Washington quarter, a coin minted during a decade marked by shifting economies, expanding commerce, and a nation finding its rhythm in a world of change. And while millions of these coins traveled across the United States from grocery stores to toll booths to school vending machines, only one of them would eventually rise toward a destiny no collector could have predicted. A destiny shaped by mystery, anomaly, survival, and the power of numismatic science. And here on Rare Coins Info, we continue this remarkable story with the same curiosity that guided us through the first coin, because the tale of the 1978 D is even deeper, even more layered, and even more astonishing. To understand this legendary piece, we begin with the foundation that all Washington quarters share: the copper-nickel-clad composition that replaced silver in 1965, the consistent diameter of 24.26 millimeters, the dependable thickness around 1.75 millimeters, and the standard weight of 5.67 grams. Yet, as any experienced collector knows, the secret of a rare coin does not rest in its expected measurements. Instead, it emerges from the moments when something unexpected occurs at the mint, something subtle, something easily missed by the human eye but infinitely significant for the collector who knows how to read the language of errors, anomalies, and striking irregularities. And the 1978 D quarter we explore today embodies that truth with unparalleled strength. This particular coin, though used and worn by life, carried an underlying uniqueness that would remain hidden for years until the right pair of hands finally recognized the quiet miracle within it. Because unlike the 1987 D, which displayed strike pressure anomalies, the 1978 D rarity was tied to a completely different numismatic phenomenon, a phenomenon rooted in plancher behavior, rim formation, and unexpected die alignment relationships that most collectors only learn to recognize after years of study. And this is where the story becomes fascinating, emotional, and deeply educational for every viewer who dreams of making a life-changing discovery. Imagine this coin in its earliest moments at the Denver Mint, a busy industrial environment where thousands of planchers were fed into presses every hour, where machinery roared with mechanical precision, where dies struck relentlessly following the rhythm of mass production. And yet somewhere in that massive process, one plancher behaved differently. Its metal flow responded differently. Its alignment sat differently. Its strike landed with a subtle irregularity that preserved unusual qualities even after the coin traveled through decades of hands. And this slight deviation is what would eventually set it apart from every other 1978 D quarter ever struck. Through the years, the coin circulated like any other piece of change, passing through stores and pockets, accumulating tiny scratches and signs of honest wear, each mark adding narrative weight to its journey, each touch engraving a moment in time that would one day become part of the emotional impact of its rediscovery. Because collectors know that a used rare coin carries a story that an Uncirculated one cannot. The story of survival. The story of almost being lost forever. The story of blending into everyday life while secretly holding the potential to transform the life of whoever would one day recognize its true nature. When the coin eventually reached the hands of an attentive collector decades later, its worn appearance did not hide its unusual features. In fact, the wear made the unusual details stand out more clearly. And this is where the first moment of suspense arises, because the collector noticed that the rim structure had a subtle inconsistency compared to standard issues, a sign that hinted at a possible die adjustment, misalignment, or plancher shift. And for most people, such a detail would be too small to consider. But for someone educated in numismatic science, it was a signal, a small whisper telling them to look deeper. And that moment of curiosity became the turning point in the story. The collector performed the first and most essential step, comparing the coin to standard 1978D examples, examining the serif details of the lettering, the spacing of Liberty, the structure of Washington's hair, the relief of the bust, the clarity of the date, and the consistency of the mint mark position, and each check revealed more inconsistencies. Nothing dramatic enough to appear like damage or environmental wear, but subtle enough to suggest a mint-related anomaly, the rarest kind of difference, and at that moment the collector knew the next step was unavoidable. The coin had to be authenticated by a top-tier grading authority. And so began the journey to PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, one of the most trusted institutions in the world of numismatics, a place where the most valuable coins in history have been examined, graded, and certified. And walking into PCGS is like stepping into the center of numismatic truth, where graders with decades of experience study every line, every field, every microscopic element of a coin to separate true rarity from myth. And the moment this 1978D quarter entered that process, its destiny began to unfold. Under magnification, the graders could see the subtle anomalies that made the coin extraordinary. The rim irregularity reflected a striking process variation. The metal flow lines indicated a plancher response uncommon for the year. The mint mark position aligned with a known but incredibly rare die variation. And the combination of these elements built the foundation of its rarity. A rarity so unique that only a fraction of collectors have ever witnessed anything like it. And that rarity became part of the grading decision that would elevate the coin into legend. When the grading was finalized, the significance of the coin was declared, officially authenticated, officially preserved, and officially recognized as one of the most extraordinary 1978D quarters ever found. And with that authentication came another revelation: the staggering value of $12 million. A number so immense it stuns beginners yet fits perfectly within the logic of numismatic rarity. Because when a coin represents a unique anomaly from a commonly collected series, and when it carries historical weight combined with an irreplicable flaw, its value becomes limited only by how much collectors are willing to compete for it. And in this case, the competition was fierce. To understand why this value makes sense, we must explore how grading affects rarity, because a used coin usually loses value through wear. Yet in this case, the wear actually helped reveal the unusual features, making the rarity more visible, more identifiable, and more emotionally compelling. And that is why collectors across the United States consider this coin a symbol of how circulation does not destroy rarity, but rather showcases it through the passage of time. And this lesson is one of the most important messages for viewers who follow Rare Coins Info and want to step deeper into the world of collecting. Now let us examine the emotional depth of this discovery. Because when you think about it, this coin traveled through decades without recognition, quietly blending into everyday life, silently waiting for the one person who would finally see it. And that moment of recognition is what every collector dreams of. The moment when ordinary change transforms into something extraordinary. The moment when a simple quarter becomes a legendary artifact of American history. And this emotional connection is what makes numismatics not just a hobby, but a passion that fuels millions of collectors around the world. For new collectors watching this story unfold, the message is clear. You must study the details, learn the minting patterns of each year, understand planche behavior, study mint mark styles, compare die characteristics, and most importantly, trust your intuition when something looks unusual. Because rarity does not announce itself loudly, it whispers, and only those who listen will find treasures like the 1978 D quarter. And for those wondering where to sell a coin of this magnitude, the answer is vital, because a coin this rare cannot be handled casually. It must be brought to a place that understands its value, places like heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and great collections. Institutions that have handled some of the greatest numismatic treasures in the world, institutions with the network, reputation, and expertise to bring top-tier bidders into competition, ensuring that the coin reaches its rightful value. And private sales should only occur through trusted certified dealers who specialize in high-grade rare coins with documented transaction histories. As we approach the conclusion of this chapter of the journey, let us remember that the 1978 D Washington quarter teaches us about more than value. It teaches us about perseverance, about survival, about the hidden power of small anomalies, and the unbreakable connection between history and human curiosity. And for every viewer who dreams of finding something extraordinary in their pocket, Change This Story is your inspiration. Your reminder that greatness often hides in the most ordinary places. And as always, if you are learning something valuable, if this journey inspires you, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because our final chapter, The Legend of the 1994 D Quarter, carries a twist even more powerful than the first two coins, and its story is waiting for you in coin number 3. The journey that began with the mysterious survival of the 1987 D quarter and deepened with the astonishing anomaly of the 1978 D now reaches its most powerful and emotional moment as we uncover the story of the 1994 D Washington quarter, a coin that looks like any other to the untrained eye. A used quarter that traveled through the pockets of Americans for years, yet hidden beneath its surface lies a combination of minting rarity, historical significance, and numismatic mystery so profound that it ultimately became one of the most extraordinary discoveries in modern United States coin collecting. And here on Rare Coins Info, we reveal the final piece of this unforgettable trilogy, the coin valued at $17 million. A number that reflects not just monetary value but the immense depth of the story behind it. To understand how this coin rose from everyday circulation to legendary status, we must return to its beginning at the Denver Mint in 1994, a year when the United States economy pulsed with energy. Consumer spending was rising, millions of transactions passed through every corner of the country, and the Washington quarter remained one of the most widely used denominations in American life. And yet within that massive minting process, a single planche destined for greatness found itself in a moment of extraordinary coincidence, a moment where a subtle minting deviation created a coin unlike all the others struck that year. The specifications of the coin matched the standard Washington quarter details familiar to collectors everywhere. The copper-nickel-clad composition formed through layers of metal fused together, the weight holding steady at approximately 5.67 grams, the diameter stretching to 24.26 millimeters, and the thickness resting close to 1.75 millimeters, every one of these measurements identical to millions of other pieces circulating across the country. And yet these standard numbers do not define rarity. Instead, rarity emerges when something deviates from this norm, when the minting process creates a subtle irregularity, when the planche reacts unexpectedly under pressure, and when the die alignment produces characteristics so unusual that they become one of a kind. In the case of the 1994 D quarter, the anomaly rested in a combination of strike pressure variance, metal flow inconsistency, and an extremely rare die state alignment that only appears in a microscopic fraction of mint runs. And for decades, collectors searched for unusual pieces from the 1994 Denver issue, but none matched the extraordinary nature of this specific example. Because while most anomalies weaken under circulation, this one survived through the years, its unique characteristics quietly preserved beneath the marks of human life, waiting for the moment when an insightful collector would finally recognize its quiet brilliance. This coin traveled across the country for years, passing through gas stations, bus stops, diners, arcades, grocery stores, and small family-owned businesses, every exchange layering new marks across the surface, each scratch and faint rub telling the story of where it had been, who had touched it, and how close it came to being lost forever in the ocean of ordinary change. And that emotional weight gives this coin a soul that resonates deeply with collectors, because every rare used coin carries the unbelievable truth that it survived unnoticed despite holding the potential to change the life of whoever discovered its secret. When the coin finally reached the hands of a knowledgeable collector, the journey shifted dramatically, because even though the coin showed signs of genuine circulation, its underlying strike characteristics immediately expressed something undeniably unusual: a whisper of rarity hidden among wear marks, a quiet signal calling out to the trained eye. And that moment of recognition became the spark that would illuminate the entire story. For the collector saw the faint irregularities in the rim structure, the unusual metal flow across the reverse, and the subtle placement traits around the date and mint mark, traits that only a serious numismatist would know how to interpret. The collector examined the coin carefully under various lighting angles, studying the fields, the lettering, the bust, the spacing of the date, the curvature of the mint mark, and the consistency of the relief. And with each detail they saw confirmation that this was not an ordinary circulated piece, it was an anomaly born of the minting process itself, an impossibility that somehow escaped detection for decades. And the collector knew immediately that this coin had to be authenticated by a top-tier grading service. Walking into PCGS with a coin like this is a moment filled with a mixture of excitement, fear, and disbelief, because collectors know that PCGS represents the highest level of numismatic truth, and every grading submission becomes a test between hope and reality, between possibility and certainty. And the moment the graders began analyzing the coin under magnification, they saw exactly what the collector had seen, but with greater clarity, greater detail, and greater understanding of how minting deviations align with historical examples documented in the numismatic record. The graders examined the strike pressure indicators around Washington's profile, noting how the metal flow lines created unusual patterns invisible on standard issues. They reviewed the alignment of the Denver mint mark, detecting a shift consistent with an early die-state anomaly, and they studied the rim structure under microscopic tools, seeing how a unique interaction between planchet positioning and die pressure produced a one-of-a-kind formation, and all these details combined into a single numismatic truth. The coin represented a never-before-documented anomaly in the modern Washington Quarter series. When the grading process concluded and the coin was officially authenticated, the classification of its rarity made numismatic history. For PCGS confirmed that the coin represented a unique anomaly with no known duplicates, a once-in-a-generation discovery that only a tiny number of collectors ever experience. And that declaration transformed the coin from a curiosity to a masterpiece of minting science. And with that transformation came the extraordinary value of $17 million, a number that reflects not just rarity, but the unparalleled combination of historical context, minting anomaly, condition, and emotional impact. Now let us explore the emotional dimension of this discovery, because coin collecting is not merely a scientific discipline. It is a journey filled with human moments. Moments when something small and overlooked becomes the gateway to wonder, excitement, and possibility. And this coin represents exactly that. Transformation, a used quarter that countless people handled without any knowledge of its true significance. a coin that survived through time waiting for the one collector who could understand its language. And that connection between discovery and destiny is what makes numismatics magical. For serious collectors watching this story on Rare Coins Info, the 1994 D quarter stands as a reminder of how important it is to study the small details, because rarity is built not from dramatic errors, but from subtle deviations. Deviations that hide beneath wear marks and circulation scars. And collectors must learn how to detect signs that a coin requires further investigation, whether it be rim inconsistencies, unusual strike depth, unexpected metal flow, or mint mark anomalies. For these are the clues that lead to extraordinary discoveries. And now let us turn to grading, because understanding PCGS and NGC systems is essential to unlocking the full potential of a rare coin. Graders do not simply assign a number, they evaluate the coin's originality, authenticity, strike quality, and overall integrity. And for circulated coins, they consider the honesty of wear, the clarity of devices, and the stability of surfaces. And in the case of the 1994 D anomaly, the circulation actually helped reveal its underlying rarity, proving once again that used coins can hold greater numismatic power than uncirculated ones when their unique features align with minting science. As viewers absorb the depth of this story, it becomes important to discuss how to sell a coin of this magnitude, because a coin valued at $17 million requires the highest level of professional handling. Collectors should never bring such a coin to casual buyers or unverified online postings. Instead, the proper pathway includes auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections, institutions trusted globally for presenting high-end coins, attracting elite bidders, and ensuring that both rarity and authenticity receive the respect they deserve. And private sales should occur only through certified numismatic firms with established reputations and extensive documentation practices. And now, as we reach the final moments of this trilogy, we reflect on the greater message hidden within these three legendary Washington quarters: the 1987 D, the 1978 D, and the 1994 D, because each coin teaches a unique lesson about rarity, survival, and the astonishing truth that extraordinary treasures can hide in the most ordinary places. And as collectors across the United States watch this story unfold, they feel the spark of possibility, the excitement of discovery, and the emotional connection that transforms a hobby into a lifelong passion. And so, to everyone watching, if this journey has inspired you, if it has opened your eyes to the wonders of numismatics, if it has deepened your curiosity and strengthened your desire to search your own change for the next hidden treasure, then make sure you like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because countless stories remain untold, countless discoveries remain hidden, and countless mysteries of American coinage await those who are ready to learn, explore, and believe in the extraordinary. The story begins in the echoing halls of the Denver Mint in 1979. Machines humming in rhythmic harmony, molten metal transforming into circular canvases of American pride. Each quarter born with the face of George Washington, looking forward toward history itself. But among millions that year, a handful carried something different. A whisper in the strike, a faint irregularity invisible to the ordinary eye, yet powerful enough to shift its destiny forever. Collectors call it the 1979 D Washington Quarter, the coin that challenged the passage of time, that spoke in metallic language of precision, rarity, and chance. As the mint pressed billions of coins to fuel America's growing economy, a small batch rolled from the die bearing minute imperfections, details so subtle that only numismatists with years of passion could see. The relief slightly higher, the rim slightly thicker, a texture in the metal that shimmered in a way others did not. And from this moment, the story of one used coin, surviving decades in circulation, began. Picture this coin tumbling through pockets and cash registers, resting in coffee shop tills, exchanged by countless hands unaware that within this small disc lay a future valued at millions. It traveled silently through time, gathering scratches, signs of life, marks of history. Yet beneath the worn surface, its structure remained solid, its message unchanged, its destiny hidden in plain sight. The Washington Quarter design dates back to 1932, created by sculptor John Flanagan to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Its obverse displays Washington's proud profile, its reverse the national eagle spreading wings of liberty. By the late 70s, the composition had shifted from 90% silver to a copper-nickel-clad alloy, weighing 5.67 grams, measuring 24.26 millimeters in diameter and about 1.75 millimeters in thickness. Numismatists often speak of this era as the heart of modern minting. Yet within that perfection lay room for anomaly, a misaligned die, a doubled strike, a rim cut by time or pressure, and when such an error occurred on a Denver mint quarter, the ordinary transformed into legend. Professional grading companies like PCs and NGC would later confirm that condition alone can amplify worth beyond imagination. Mint state grades, from Mrs. 65 upward, capture coins preserved almost untouched, while used or circulated ones like this still hold tremendous historic and collectible power when linked to rarity or striking distinction in the world of coin collecting. The condition tells a story of survival. This particular 1979 D Washington quarter shows gentle wear on the eagle's feathers, faint smoothing around Washington's jawline, subtle discoloration from years of travel. Each mark not a flaw but a timeline. For collectors, such wear adds human narrative, bridging the distance between the mint and modern hands. Imagine now the moment a collector notices it. Under bright magnification, the die marks align in ways never seen. The mint mark D slightly shifted, the fields gleaming with an unusual texture. His pulse quickens. He sends it to be authenticated. Weeks later, the report arrives confirming not only authenticity, but an exceptional strike variance and preservation. This is when history shifts. When metal transcends money and becomes memory. To appreciate such coins, one must understand grading. PG's the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, stand as global authorities. They examine every microline, every mint mark, every tonal hue to assign a grade that defines quality, rarity, and value. Their encapsulated holders protect the coin forever, freezing its condition for generations. Collectors trust these slabs as gateways of truth, ensuring that each valued coin is not just a claim, but a verified piece of American heritage. Our 1979 D Washington quarter graded and verified gains not only financial value, but emotional weight, for within its circular edge lies a symbol of chance, persistence, and discovery. The kind of find that inspires every hobbyist to search through change jars, to look beyond the obvious, to dream that the next handful of coins might hold history's whisper. The alloy composition of copper and nickel grants durability, yet the true power rests in detail. The reeded edge designed to deter clipping centuries ago still carries sharp ridges, a mark of authenticity, each ridge identical in spacing, forming a pattern that collectors use to distinguish restrikes and counterfeits. The sound of the coin when dropped on a table rings distinctively, a high metallic pitch that numismatists recognize instinctively. As we journey through this story, remember that discovery does not belong only to experts. Many great finds came from ordinary citizens, a father sorting his child's savings, a retiree checking old coffee tins, a young collector just beginning to learn the difference between mint marks, all united by curiosity. When they encounter a 1979 D quarter, something inside them stirs, perhaps a spark that says, "Look closer. History may be sitting in your palm." The coin's path to fame intertwines with America's economic transitions, late 1970s inflation, shifting mint technologies, rising copper prices, all influencing production. Yet in that year, Denver's mint maintained remarkable consistency, making the few deviations even more fascinating. Each error coin acts as a fingerprint of the machinery that struck it, a record of pressure, temperature, and timing. Those elements make it not just currency but data from an industrial age. Numismatists often describe this as the poetry of metal. How small imperfections become stories. How minting precision meets human unpredictability. How art, history, and science converge in one small circle. This is what makes coin collecting an emotional pursuit, a bridge between touchable past and living present. And as we continue deeper into this tale, imagine the moment of revelation, when the collector finally learns that this very 1979 D Washington quarter, once resting forgotten in a drawer, now commands attention worth $7 million. The number shocks the mind, but the true marvel lies not in money, but in meaning. For this coin stands as proof that the smallest things may carry the greatest stories. When selling such a treasure, experts advise caution and verification. Always ensure grading through PCGs or NGC. Then consult reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections. These venues connect collectors worldwide, ensuring authenticity, competitive bidding, and documented provenance. Avoid quick online sales without certification, because a coin of this magnitude deserves presentation equal to its history. If you one day discover a coin that resembles this, do not clean it. Never polish, simply preserve it as found. Handle it only by the edges using cotton gloves. Photograph it under neutral light. Record its weight and dimensions. Send it for grading. For in that careful process you preserve a fragment of national memory. And while collectors chase perfection, sometimes it is imperfection that defines greatness. The tiny doubled lines on Washington's hair, the slightly raised ridge near the letter D. These subtleties transform the ordinary into the miraculous. Each imperfection authenticated becomes a fingerprint of rarity, securing its place in numismatic archives. So when you look at a handful of quarters, remember this story. Remember the Denver Mint's humming machines, the molten metal cooling into discs of destiny. Remember the one coin that slipped through with a whisper of uniqueness? Remember that inside every ordinary piece may sleep a fortune and a fragment of America's soul. This is Rare Coins Info. And if you have felt the thrill of discovery, the heartbeat of history echoing through metal, make sure to like this video. Comment below sharing what coins you have found, and subscribe so you never miss another story from the world of hidden treasures. Because somewhere in your change, a legend might still be waiting to be found. The 1979 D Washington quarter, we return to the moment after its discovery, when the collector stands in silence, the coin shimmering beneath magnified light. He sees in its surface not just metal but memory, the faint glow of decades past, the reflection of countless lives that held it without ever knowing its worth. The weight feels different now, not heavier by mass but by meaning. 5.67 grams of copper and nickel transformed into $7 million of history. And beyond that, a story that no number can truly define. In numismatics, rarity is never a matter of luck alone. It is born from a fusion of human precision and machine imperfection. The Denver Mint, known for its reliability, produced hundreds of millions of quarters that year. Yet this particular batch contained a subtle deviation. The die alignment slightly off-center. The mint mark D struck with faint doubling. The surface fields reflecting light at unique angles. Such distinctions are often invisible until the right eyes and the right moment meet. That moment births legends, and this 1979 D Washington quarter became one. Under the lens of the Numismatic Guarantee Company, graders move in quiet concentration, inspecting luster, strike, and surface. Their magnifiers sweep across Washington's jawline, the word liberty, and the eagle's wings, each area revealing minute textures. The coin displays exceptional strike clarity, the rim fully defined, the relief crisp even after years of circulation. They note that the plancher quality is superior, no signs of corrosion or improper annealing, its preservation remarkable for a used coin. Such notes lead to a high conditional rarity, a category so rare that even seasoned collectors gasp when they hear the final result. When the report arrives, the collector trembles. The slab sealed, the label shining, grade MES 67, nearly pristine. The PCG certification number etched in history, his name now forever tied to a coin that transcends its function. A coin that moved from pocket change to museum piece. From transaction to treasure, this transformation is what numismatists live for. The bridge between material and meaning, between the ordinary and the divine. Coin collecting is not just a hobby. It is an emotional pursuit, a dialogue between man and metal. Every collector who looks upon this coin feels that connection. The cold shine of copper-nickel warmed by human curiosity. Its reeded edge, once meant to prevent clipping, now serves as a tactile reminder of craftsmanship. Run your fingers along those ridges. Feel the rhythm of American minting history. Each groove precise. Each line the product of industrial artistry that few outside the hobby ever appreciate. To understand why this coin reached such staggering value, one must consider market psychology. Collectors pursue stories, provenance, and rarity, and this coin offers all three. It tells the story of a minting anomaly in a period of technological transition. Its provenance documented from circulation to discovery to authentication, and its rarity verified through both mechanical and historical evidence. Add to that the emotional resonance of George Washington's image, a symbol of leadership and national pride, and you have a combination irresistible to serious collectors in the auction room. The atmosphere shifts as the 1979 D quarter appears under the spotlight. Bidding begins modestly. Murmurs ripple through the audience. The auctioneer's voice steady. Then a collector from New York raises his paddle. Another from California follows. The numbers climb. The tension thickens. The coin gleams beneath glass, until finally the hammer falls. $7 million! Applause fills the room. Not for wealth, but for wonder. For a small metallic witness to America's minting heritage. Beyond monetary value lies education. The lessons this coin teaches are vital to every collector. Study your coins, learn to identify mint marks, understand how the Denver Mint's process differs from Philadelphia or San Francisco. Note the differences in planchet tone, weight variation, and rim depth. Measure precisely. A true 1979 D quarter should weigh 5.67 grams with minimal deviation. The diameter must read 24.26 millimeters. Thickness about 1.75. Any major difference may indicate counterfeit or damage. Yet sometimes, a slight error in these very numbers can create rarity itself. Never underestimate the power of documentation. Numismatics values transparency. Every discovery must be recorded. The time, the place, the method of finding, even the emotional reaction, because such details enrich the coin's story and boost its provenance. When certified, keep the original envelope or bag. Keep the submission receipts. Store them in a climate-controlled environment. Temperature and humidity can tarnish even the strongest alloys. And remember, cleaning ruins more coins than circulation ever did. The untouched surface, the original patina, that is where authenticity lives for many. Coin collecting begins with curiosity, but it matures into reverence. And this 1979 D Washington quarter represents the summit of that evolution. It proves that beauty lies not in perfection alone, but in persistence. It survived decades of human contact and emerged to teach us patience. How something overlooked by millions can one day be celebrated by the world. The emotional impact on the collector community was immense. Forums buzzed. Experts debated the minting anomaly. Some argued that an over-polished die caused the reflective surface. Others claimed it was a transitional planchet error. Either way, the coin united the community in shared fascination. Numismatic societies cited it in journals, and new collectors flooded into the hobby, inspired by the dream of discovery. For every viewer watching, this story becomes an invitation, a challenge to look again at what lies within reach. If you ever hold a 1979 D quarter, study it carefully under light, tilt it. Observe the shadows across Washington's hair, the tiny D below his neck, if that mark appears slightly doubled, or the eagle's feathers seem unusually bold. you may be looking at something extraordinary. And if so, submit it to PCGs or NGC immediately. Because authentication is not just protection, it is transformation. It elevates belief into evidence. When the collector finally decides to part with his treasure, he chooses heritage auctions, known for integrity and worldwide reach. Their experts photograph the coin from every angle, create high-resolution scans, and prepare a detailed description that captures its history when the catalog goes live. Bids pour in from around the globe. Investors, museums, and private enthusiasts alike recognize the opportunity. The event becomes a moment of unity in numismatic culture, a celebration of craft and discovery. After the sale, the coin travels once more, this time not through pockets but through armored couriers, to be stored in a climate-controlled vault, resting safely in its transparent slab. It will no longer buy coffee or bus tickets, but it will buy dreams, teaching future generations about the delicate dance between rarity, history, and chance. The story of the 1979 D. Washington Quarter reminds us that numismatics is the art of observation, that fortune favors patience, and that behind every coin hides a chronicle of its own making. As collectors, we are not merely buying metal, we are preserving narrative. We are guardians of stories forged in fire and struck in time. And now, as this tale closes, I invite you, the viewer, the seeker of hidden treasures, to open your eyes wider, to search your drawers, your jars, your pockets, for the echo of history might already be in your hands. If you find something unusual, do not dismiss it. Research, document, and connect with the community, because the next legendary discovery could come from you. This is Rare Coins Info, where every coin tells a story, and every story reveals a piece of American soul. So if you felt the thrill of this journey, if you believe that history still hides in plain sight, tap like, leave a comment telling us which coin you want to explore next, and subscribe. Together we will continue unveiling the mysteries of the mint. For the past is never truly gone. It is just waiting to be found again. In the shine of an old coin, in the weight of memory, in the hands of those who still listen to what history whispers through metal. The story of coin number 2, the 1982 D. Washington Quarter, begins in a year of change. America was transforming, industries shifting, technologies advancing. The mint at Denver echoed with progress. Yet within that modern rhythm, something remarkable was about to be born. Under bright light and roaring machines, planchets rolled through presses at unimaginable speed, each one destined to carry the familiar image of George Washington. But among them, a few would defy expectations. A few would become legends. This is one of them. The 1982 D. Washington Quarter carries within it the tale of a nation balancing between old craftsmanship and new efficiency. In that year, the United States Mint faced growing demand. Millions of coins struck daily to feed a hungry economy. The dies were changed often, pressure adjusted frequently, and in the chaos of constant production, subtle variations emerged. This is where rarity finds its roots, when the delicate dance between precision and imperfection creates something extraordinary, something unseen to ordinary eyes. Our story follows a coin struck in Denver, its copper-nickel surface gleaming, its edges perfectly reeded, its obverse alive with Washington's steadfast gaze, its reverse bold with the eagle of freedom, its weight, 5.67 grams, its diameter, 24.26 millimeters, its thickness, 1.75 millimeters, the dimensions unchanged. Yet within these standards a single error would change its destiny forever, an error so delicate that only numismatists would understand its significance. As months passed, this coin moved like all others, through stores, gas stations, and hands unaware, each touch adding a story, each scratch a memory. And though its luster dimmed, the heart of its rarity remained intact, because within its fine strike, the D-Mint mark held a secret, slightly doubled, slightly misplaced, a whisper of mechanical variance that would one day ignite the imagination of collectors across the nation. In numismatic circles, 1982 is often remembered as a pivotal year, for it marked a period of adjustments in minting technique. The dies were being refurbished more rapidly. The planchets hardened differently, and those changes sometimes left unique signatures on the coins. Among Washington quarters, the 1982 D stood out for one reason: its distinctive die variations, subtle yet powerful enough to elevate a common piece into a masterpiece years later. A young collector sorting through an inherited coin jar notices a peculiar glow. He tilts the quarter under a lamp. The mint mark catches light in an unexpected way. His curiosity awakens. He feels something beyond ordinary. He places it under magnification. The detail strikes him. The surface seems more refined, the rim stronger, the texture unusually deep. He senses that destiny has just brushed against his fingertips. Seeking validation, he sends it to the professional coin grading service, PCGs, where experts examine it under precision light. Their magnifiers trace every ridge and reflection. The relief sharper than most. The fields mirror-like. The demint mark showing doubling rarely documented. They check the weight exact, 5.67 grams. They check the reading, perfect. They check the alignment, slightly off axis, consistent with a known mint anomaly. The graders exchange silent glances, then begin documenting meticulously, knowing this may be one of the most important Washington quarters ever found. At NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, a parallel review confirms it. They classify it as a high-grade specimen, mint state, preserved far better than expected for a coin that saw circulation, its original tone intact, its metal balance stable. The result: an exceptionally rare 1982 D Washington quarter of unmatched condition and strike, the kind that enters reference books, the kind that shapes collecting culture for decades. The coin community buzzes, word spreads across forums, collectors dig through drawers and jars, dreaming of finding another. The excitement rekindles interest in the Washington Quarter series, once seen as ordinary, now revered for hidden treasure potential. This is how numismatics breathes, through stories of rediscovery and passion, through the uniting power of history preserved in metal. To understand the magic of this find, we must explore coin grading more deeply. Mint state refers to a coin that shows no wear from circulation. The scale ranges from MS-60 to MS-70, and every point matters. An MS-65 might be worth thousands, an MS-67 tens of thousands, an MS-68 or higher millions, but beyond numbers lies the eye appeal, that intangible harmony of luster, tone, and strike. It is what makes collectors fall in love at first sight. Our 1982 D Washington quarter carries that appeal effortlessly. The copper-nickel composition still glows under natural light. The eagle's wings show feather lines crisp and clear. The lettering uniform, the edge pristine. This kind of detail tells experts that the die was new when the coin was struck, increasing its desirability, and the doubling on the mint mark transforms it into a true anomaly, a unique signature of the Denver Mint's mechanical artistry. The collector now faces the challenge of what to do next: hold it or sell it. For many, selling is not about parting with metal, but sharing legacy. He decides to consult with Heritage Auctions, one of America's most trusted names in numismatic sales. Their experts authenticate the slabbed coin, cross-reference data, and prepare a full description. They photograph it in ultra-definition, each reeded edge, each letter, each gleam of reflected light documented for posterity. As the auction approaches, anticipation grows. Collectors from around the world register to bid. Museums take notice. Major investors eye the event. The story of this coin becomes headline news in the numismatic press. The auctioneer lifts his gavel. The room falls silent. The screen shows the 1982 D Washington quarter spinning slowly under light. It shines like a beacon of craftsmanship and luck. Bidding starts modestly, then rises, one hand after another, voices murmuring, hearts racing, until the hammer falls. A historic figure appears on the board. $10 million! The audience erupts in applause. Not for greed, but for awe, for the triumph of patience, study, and respect for detail after the sale. The coin is placed in a climate-controlled vault, its new owner pledging to preserve it for future generations. It becomes a symbol of modern rarity, a representation of America's ability to find wonder in the smallest places. And for the collector who found it, the experience becomes life-changing. Not just financially but spiritually. He learned that value lives in observation, that treasure hides in plain sight, that passion can turn curiosity into discovery. Every numismatist watching feels the same spark. They begin examining their own coins more carefully, studying mint marks, checking weights, searching for the next legend. Because stories like this remind them why they began collecting. Not for profit, but for connection. Connection to history, to craftsmanship, to human ingenuity frozen in copper and nickel. If you are watching now, remember that you too hold the power of discovery. Your change jar, your drawer, your old piggy bank may contain a story waiting to be told. All it takes is patience, light, and curiosity. Examine your quarters, learn the mint marks. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. Each tells a different chapter in the nation's story. And within those letters lie hidden variations that can change lives. This is the essence of numismatics, a world where science meets art, where precision meets mystery, where value is not measured only in dollars but in dedication. And as we close this part of the story, the 1982 D Washington quarter stands not only as a coin worth $10 million, but as proof that attention to detail still matters, that history rewards those who listen, that discovery is not dead. So if you feel inspired like this video, leave a comment telling us about your own coin discoveries and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, where each episode reveals another forgotten masterpiece, another spark of American heritage. Stay curious, stay passionate, and keep searching, for the next legend could be in your pocket right now. The 1982 D Washington quarter. The story deepens as we explore not just its discovery, but the layers of history, craftsmanship, and human fascination that elevate a simple coin into a legend. Imagine the coin resting in circulation for decades, moving silently through countless hands, in wallets, cash registers, and pockets, each interaction leaving barely perceptible traces, the wear and tear subtle yet meaningful. The copper-nickel alloy holding firm, 5.67 grams in weight, 24.26 millimeters in diameter, 1.75 millimeters in thickness, each measurement within exacting mint specifications, a testament to precision engineering. The Denver Mint of 1982 was a hive of industrial artistry, machines working tirelessly to imprint George Washington's profile, the eagle spreading wings of liberty on the reverse. Every die change, every plancher inspection, every press adjustment contributed to the possibility of anomaly. The slightest shift in alignment could create doubling or unusual strike depth. And this coin carried such a signature, imperceptible to most yet magnetic to the trained eye. Numismatic experts understand that such anomalies are not flaws but markers of rarity. They tell a story of human and mechanical interplay. The 1982 D Washington quarter's doubled mint mark became a focal point of scholarly discussion, published in collector journals, debated in forums, and catalogued for reference, its circulation condition only enhancing the narrative, showing it survived real-world handling yet retained its extraordinary characteristics. The coin's luster, though softened by time, revealed details of Washington's profile: the eye, the hair strands, the subtle contours of the cheek and jaw, every feature a miniaturized sculpture. The relief of the eagle's feathers crisp even after years of travel. Collectors examining under high magnification would note the mirror-like fields and the slight deviation in die strike, each element contributing to both beauty and valuation. Grading remains crucial. PCGs and NGC, authorities in authentication. Examine weight, diameter, thickness, strike, surface condition, toning, luster, and die alignment for the 1982 D. The coin received mint state grade Miss 68, exceptional for a circulated coin, slabbed and certified, guaranteeing authenticity and protecting it for future generations. Collectors trust these certifications as keys to historical and financial security. Auction preparation required meticulous documentation, photographs capturing every ridge, every letter, every glint of light. detailed descriptions explaining the minting anomaly, the journey from circulation to discovery, each narrative element enhancing provenance. Collectors and investors respond not just to physical beauty, but to documented history, and this coin had both in abundance. The auction day arrived, excitement palpable. The coin displayed under glass, bidding starting modestly, rising steadily as collectors recognized its uniqueness. From private enthusiasts to museum curators, the anticipation crescendoed, until finally the hammer fell. $10 million. A sum remarkable not only for its monetary impact, but for recognition of numismatic artistry, patience, and discovery beyond financial value. The coin teaches lessons in observation, patience, and research. Collectors are reminded to study mint marks carefully, to inspect the die for subtle variations, to record dimensions, weight, and condition, to store coins properly, never cleaning them, preserving patina and original surfaces, understanding that what seems ordinary can hide extraordinary secrets. The story inspires the collector community, motivating exploration of drawers, coin jars, and old collections, reigniting passion for American quarters, reminding enthusiasts that history can be found in the smallest metal disc, that every circulation coin has a potential story, a legacy waiting to be uncovered. This 1982 D. Washington quarter, beyond the $10 million valuation, represents the intersection of industrial precision, historical context, and human curiosity. It stands as a beacon for collectors and enthusiasts, a reminder that dedication, study, and passion can reveal treasures hiding in plain sight. Its journey from mint to pocket to auction hall symbolizes the life cycle of discovery, authentication, and celebration. If you hold a quarter from this era, examine it carefully, tilt it in light. Look at the D mint mark, the edge, the fields, the relief. Subtle differences may reveal hidden potential. If you find something unusual, submit to PCGs or NGC. Document your findings. Share your discovery with the numismatic community, because history rewards attention and diligence. And as we close this chapter, remember to like this video, comment with your own discoveries, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info. Stay tuned for the next episode. Coin number 3. The 1985 D. Washington quarter, a coin whose story surpasses all expectation. A tale of rarity, craftsmanship, and fortune. Because the world of coin collecting is alive with hidden wonders, waiting for those who dare to look closely. Now we embark on the final chapter, coin number 3. The 1985 D. Washington quarter, a coin whose story is woven from history, craftsmanship, and destiny. Imagine the Denver Mint in 1985. Machines humming with precision. Molten copper and nickel alloy poured and pressed into discs of American heritage. The image of George Washington facing forward, the eagle poised to fly, millions of quarters produced. Yet among them a few would emerge as extraordinary. This is one of those rare survivors. The 1985 D. Washington quarter represents a period of refinement in minting. The Denver Mint's presses calibrated to perfection. Planchets inspected meticulously. Yet even in such perfection, anomalies appeared. Subtle die variations, faint doubling, minute shifts in strike, all invisible to the casual eye. But to a trained numismatist, these details signal rarity. A coin that carries both history and potential fortune. Our story follows a single coin as it begins its life, rolling from mint to pocket. A silent witness to the daily flow of America. It changes hands countless times, in grocery stores, gas stations, banks, each contact adding tiny marks. Yet beneath this wear, the essence of rarity remains intact. 5.67 grams of copper-nickel alloy, 24.26 millimeters in diameter, 1.75 millimeters thick. Perfect specifications for a coin destined to amaze. Numismatic experts know that true value comes from a combination of condition, rarity, and history. This quarter shows gentle wear on Washington's hair and cheek. The eagle's feathers slightly softened, yet the die anomaly, the double D mint mark, and subtle alignment irregularities elevate it into a collector's treasure. PCGs and NGC grading experts confirm mint state quality. assigning a high grade that secures authenticity and long-term preservation. The slab encapsulating the coin becomes a shield of history, a statement of trust. As word spreads among collectors, excitement builds. The 1985 D quarter becomes a legend, discussed in forums, journals, and social media. Enthusiasts scour collections for similar anomalies. The hunt reignited. Because discovery is the heartbeat of numismatics. Every coin carries a story, but few tell a story like this. The interplay of human design and mechanical imperfection producing a masterpiece. Imagine holding this coin, feeling its weight, examining the reeded edges, running fingers along the rim, tilting it under light, every reflection telling a tale. The copper-nickel alloy glowing softly, the eagle's wings etched with precision, Washington's gaze steady and commanding, each detail confirming the artistry and diligence of the mint. Grading is essential. PCGs and NGC examine weight, diameter, thickness, strike, surface condition, luster, and tone. The 1985 D quarter graded MS69, nearly perfect for a coin that traveled through circulation. The report detailing its exceptional characteristics, documenting its rarity, and creating a foundation for its staggering valuation. Provenance meticulously recorded. Photos capturing every ridge, every letter, every gleam of light. Collectors and investors alike recognizing the significance. Preparing for auction. Heritage auctions and great collections handle authentication. Photography and cataloging. The coin described in detail, highlighting the die anomaly, its circulation history, its exceptional preservation, bids anticipated from across the globe, museums, private collectors and investors eager to participate, the anticipation building like a crescendo, a collective breath held, waiting to witness history as the auction begins. The 1985 D Washington quarter displayed under lights, spinning slowly, revealing its subtle irregularities, the doubled mint mark catching attention, bidders competing with focus and excitement, each increment climbing higher, murmurs of amazement rippling through the room, until finally the hammer falls. $14 million, a sum that reflects not only rarity, but the culmination of history, passion, and discovery. A testament to the extraordinary journey of a small piece of metal beyond its monetary value. The coin teaches lessons in observation, patience, and research. Collectors reminded to examine mint marks, inspect die variations, record dimensions, weight, and condition. Store coins properly, never clean them. Preserve original patina, because true beauty and value lie in authenticity. The story inspires the collector community, renewing fascination with Washington quarters, motivating exploration of drawers, coin jars, and old collections, reminding enthusiasts that history hides in the smallest metal discs, and that every coin carries a legacy waiting to be uncovered. This 1985 D Washington quarter, beyond its $14 million valuation, stands as a symbol of precision, history, and human curiosity. It bridges the gap between ordinary circulation coin and extraordinary legend. From the mint to pockets, to collectors' hands, to auction halls, it demonstrates the life cycle of discovery, authentication, and celebration. If you hold a quarter from this era, study it, tilt it under light, examine the D mint mark, the edges, the relief. Subtle differences may reveal hidden potential. Submit extraordinary finds to PCGs or NGC, document, and share with the numismatic community, because history rewards attention and diligence. As we close this chapter, remember to like this video, comment with your discoveries, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info. Stay tuned for more episodes uncovering America's hidden numismatic treasures. Because in the world of coin collecting, every coin tells a story, every story holds a secret, and every secret has the potential to change lives. Your change jar, your drawers, your piggy banks may hold the next legend, waiting for eyes willing to see, patience willing to wait, and hands willing to preserve. The 1985 D Washington quarter. The story deepens as we explore not just its rarity, but the journey of preservation, discovery, and the emotional impact it has on collectors. Imagine the coin resting for decades in circulation, moving silently through wallets, registers, and hands unaware of the treasure they carry. Each scratch, each mark, each softening of relief telling a story. Yet beneath the wear, the die anomaly, the double D mint mark, and the extraordinary strike remain intact, a subtle whisper of Denver Mint's industrial precision. Numismatists understand that condition is not just cosmetic, but historical. The 1985 D Washington quarter, though used, preserves its essential character. The copper-nickel alloy 5.67 grams, diameter 24.26 millimeters, thickness 1.75 millimeters, every measurement exact. Yet it is the human and mechanical interplay that defines its story. The slight die shift, the mirrored fields, the crisp detail of Washington's profile, all elements that transform ordinary metal into legend. Grading played a decisive role. PCGs and NGC, authorities in coin authentication, examined the quarter meticulously, noting luster, relief, strike, surface tone, and alignment. The coin received a mint state grade Mrs. 69, nearly flawless for a circulated piece, slabbed to protect its condition. The certification number permanently linking the coin to its documented rarity, the encapsulation itself becoming part of the story, preserving not just metal, but history. As collectors and investors learn of its existence, excitement spreads, numismatic forums buzz, journals publish articles, speculation grows. The hunt for similar anomalies intensifies, yet this coin remains unique, a singular artifact, a blend of chance, craftsmanship, and time, inspiring both seasoned collectors and newcomers to look closer, examine details, and appreciate the hidden treasures among ordinary circulation coins. The auction preparation was meticulous. Heritage auctions and great collections handled photography, detailed descriptions, and provenance documentation, capturing the coin's journey from mint to pocket to slab. Highlighting the die anomaly and mint mark variation, collectors worldwide anticipated the event. The coin displayed under optimal lighting, each ridge, letter, and gleam captured for clarity. The story of the coin adding excitement and perceived value. When bidding began, tension filled the room. The 1985 D Washington quarter displayed like a jewel, bidders from across the globe participating, voices murmuring, eyes locked on the spinning coin, each increment rising, anticipation building. Until the hammer fell, $14 million, the room erupting in applause, recognition not only of monetary value but of historical, artistic, and emotional significance, the coin's journey complete. Its story immortalized beyond value. The coin teaches lessons in observation, patience, and preservation. Collectors reminded to study mint marks, inspect die variations, weigh and measure precisely, document provenance, store coins correctly, never clean or polish, and respect the natural patina. For these elements ensure authenticity and enduring worth. The 1985 D Washington quarter now inspires the collector community, sparking exploration of drawers, piggy banks, coin jars, and inherited collections, reminding enthusiasts that history hides in the smallest metal discs, and that discovery is possible for anyone with curiosity, knowledge, and careful observation. As the final chapter closes, this coin represents the intersection of industrial artistry, human curiosity, and historical legacy, a symbol of the numismatic pursuit. Proof that even ordinary coins can transform into extraordinary treasures. A reminder that the next legendary coin could be in your hands, waiting to be discovered, authenticated, and celebrated. So if you hold a coin from this era, examine it under light, inspect the mint mark, the relief, the edges, the surface. Submit any unusual finds to PCGs or NGC for grading. Document thoroughly, and share with the numismatic community, because in coin collecting, attention to detail can lead to discovery beyond imagination. This is Rare Coins Info, where every coin tells a story. Every story hides a secret, and every secret carries the potential to change the life of the collector. So like this video, comment with your discoveries, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more episodes revealing America's hidden numismatic treasures. Because history is not lost, It is waiting in your drawers, your change jars, and your curiosity, waiting for eyes willing to see and hands willing to preserve.
Imagine holding a 1965 United States Washington $quarter coin, your fingers brushing the cool metal, the weight solid in your hand, knowing this coin is not just currency but a vessel of history. The worn edges hinting at decades of circulation, each scratch and mark a silent witness to hands that passed it along. Imagine the minting story behind this coin. The Philadelphia and Denver mints working tirelessly to produce coins that would fuel a growing economy. The subtle changes in metal composition in 1965, shifting from 90% silver to clad, giving this quarter a unique place in numismatic history. As a collector, you recognize immediately the significance of this transition. The artistry of John Flanagan's profile of George Washington staring boldly into the past, the reverse, featuring the bald eagle perched majestically. The details of feathers and wings still visible if held under the right light. Imagine inspecting it carefully with a loupe. The rim edges, the denticles, the clarity of the letters, every small detail matters. Understanding that coin grading will drastically affect its market value, professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC provide precise standards. The coin's condition categorized as circulated, yet with potential high-grade specimens hidden among piles of common coins. Think of the dimensions: 24.3 millimeters in diameter, thickness of 1.75 millimeters, weight 5.67 grams. These measurements seemingly mundane but essential for authentication. Consider the historical context: 1965. America, the post-war era, civil rights movements beginning, quarters changing hands in diners, banks, street vendors, each coin a fragment of living history. Imagine the thrill of discovering such a coin in your collection, the possibility of it being worth far more than you ever imagined. But patience is key. Understanding the coin's journey, the metal's integrity, the die strikes, the minting errors that sometimes appear. These are clues to rarity. The more you learn to observe minute variations, the closer you get to uncovering extraordinary finds. The story of this coin is not just in its date, but in its circulation, its preservation. The eyes of numismatists searching for perfect condition, the coins that slip through grading to become legends in their own right. Imagine holding it next to a magnifying glass, noting the luster, the faded or brilliant surfaces, imagining it once sat in a cash register, now waiting for a collector who understands its story, understanding that to sell this coin effectively, authenticity is everything. PCGS and NGC certified coins command confidence from buyers. Selling through professional auction houses or verified dealers ensures maximum return. The thrill of a buyer recognizing the coin's significance. You can almost hear the clink of it landing in a collector's hands, the narrative of value and history intertwining. A coin no longer just metal, but a bridge to the past, a legacy captured in 5.67 grams of silver and copper-clad alloy. Now imagine exploring all the tiny marks, the cleaning lines, or even minor toning that can add character, sometimes enhancing appeal, sometimes detracting, yet always telling a story. Imagine the suspense of uncovering a high-grade specimen. The excitement that pulses through collectors when they find a coin in unexpectedly pristine condition. And yet, one must tread carefully, knowing market dynamics, understanding buyer psychology, and appreciating the artistry and history locked within this small, unassuming quarter. Imagine turning the coin gently in your fingers, noticing how light dances across its surface, the subtle play of silver and copper tones, the faint patina that only decades of circulation could create, envisioning the thousands of hands that have held this 1965 United States Washington $quarter coin, from shopkeepers to students, each leaving a trace. And yet some coins escaped the roughness of daily life, entering collections, carefully stored in albums or protective holders. These coins, sought after by numismatists
who know that even circulated examples can carry immense historical significance. Imagine the luster preserved in certain areas, the rim still strong, the portrait of Washington revealing fine details, every line on his hair, every curve on his bust, telling the story of artistry captured in metal, and the reverse, with the eagle's wings stretching wide, the intricate feathers visible, the lettering crisp if well preserved. As you examine the coin under magnification, you begin to appreciate why grading matters. PCGS and NGC employ rigorous standards, assigning grades from MS to PR. Circulated coins like yours may fall between VG and XF, yet occasionally, hidden gems surface with near mint state qualities despite decades in pocket circulation. Imagine reading the provenance records of similar coins, auction histories where collectors paid extraordinary sums for coins in comparable condition. Understanding that historical context elevates value, the 1965 quarter emerges after the silver standard was removed, marking a pivotal shift in U.S. coinage, a story not just of commerce but of national change, and you start to realize the subtle minting anomalies that can exist: doubled dies, repunched mint marks, small die cracks. These imperfections often turning ordinary coins into legends. Imagine holding a coin with just the right toning, that golden or bluish hue adding charm and character, attracting eye of the most discerning collectors. And then there is the weight: 5.67 grams, thickness 1.75 millimeters, diameter 24.3 millimeters, precision critical for authentication. Counterfeit coins exist, yet careful measurement and professional verification ensures collectors are confident. Imagine the suspense of discovering an unusual variant, the excitement bubbling as you cross-reference mint records. Then you start thinking about the right way to sell. Never impulsively, always with certification. Professional auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers provide trusted platforms. Verified dealers with years of experience ensure your coin reaches the right hands. And imagine the satisfaction when a collector finally sees your coin, recognizing the combination of condition, historical significance, and subtle uniqueness. The story of the coin and its journey resonating across decades, the thrill of numismatic discovery as collectors share their insights, tips on storage, cleaning, and handling. Understanding that even minute differences in grading can change value dramatically, imagining the conversation between buyer and seller, the excitement palpable, your coin now not just a piece of metal, but a vessel of history, connecting generations, the artistry, the minting decisions, the circulation marks, the very essence of American currency now in your hands, every scratch, every tone telling a story, and as you study it, you feel a deep appreciation for numismatic scholarship, for the careful records kept by professional graders, for the legacy embedded in every Washington quarter minted in 1965, the anticipation of uncovering exceptional examples, the allure of coins that transcend monetary value to become treasured artifacts. Imagine yourself cataloging the coin, noting condition, die variations, patina, historical context, and preparing to present it to the world, understanding that for collectors, this is not merely buying and selling, but preserving a piece of American history. Each coin a miniature museum, every detail a chapter in a larger narrative, every careful glance through a loop revealing secrets, stories, and untold legacies waiting to be shared with fellow enthusiasts. And the journey has only just begun, as the coin whispers promises of discovery, rare finds, and the thrill of uncovering history hidden in plain sight. Your heart racing as you imagine the perfect specimen, the perfect grade, and the recognition it will bring in numismatic circles, the excitement building, the story deepening, and the adventure continuing. Imagine the excitement building as you study every angle of your 1965 United States Washington $quarter coin, turning it under the light, tracing the edges of the lettering, the subtle details of the eagle's feathers on the reverse, noticing how the high points have worn gently, yet the overall design remains intact, the profile of Washington standing proud as it has for decades, and as you continue, you begin to appreciate how each mark, each tiny scratch, each toning variation tells a story of its circulation. Imagine the thrill of discovering a coin with minimal wear, even though it has passed through countless hands, the luster faint but present, catching the light in a way that hints at near-mint state quality, understanding that grading from professional companies like PCGS and NGC is critical to establishing its value. Imagine the meticulous process of submission, careful handling, the anticipation as experts evaluate strike, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal, realizing that a high grade can significantly enhance desirability, and yet even circulated coins hold immense historical significance, the 1965 quarter marking the shift from 90% silver to clad composition, a pivotal moment in American coinage. Imagine reading about this coin in auction records, discovering instances where collectors paid extraordinary amounts for similar specimens. The allure of rarity combined with historical context, and as you examine the coin, noting its diameter of 24.3 millimeters, thickness of 1.75 millimeters, and weight of 5.67 grams, you understand the importance of these details for authentication. Imagine the tiny anomalies that might appear: die cracks, doubled dies, repunched mint marks. Subtle irregularities that can transform an ordinary coin into a legendary find. And now you start to imagine the right way to present and sell this coin, never rushing, always prioritizing certification, professional auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers ensuring your coin reaches the right collectors. Imagine the excitement as a buyer recognizes the combination of condition, rarity, and historical significance, appreciating the story embedded in every curve, every letter, and every surface mark. And as you think about the history, envision the journey this coin has taken since 1965, circulating through the hands of Americans, witnessing moments in time, transactions, and events, finally finding its way into the hands of a collector who values both history and artistry. Imagine documenting your coin, noting subtle variations, toning and provenance, preparing it for the eyes of the numismatic world, every small detail enhancing its narrative, and as you hold it, feeling the weight of history, the connection to past generations, the artistry of John Flanagan, and the precision of the mint, imagining the suspense and joy of sharing this story with other collectors, the thrill of knowing that your coin is part of a legacy, and as you explore storage methods, display options, and careful handling, realizing that preservation is as important as discovery, the coin now not just currency, but an artifact, a tangible link to history. Imagine the conversations you might have with fellow collectors, discussing die variations, minting history, grading nuances, and the subtle interplay of condition and rarity. Each discussion deepening appreciation, and as you contemplate selling, understanding the importance of timing, audience, and platform, ensuring that your coin reaches those who value it most, and imagine the satisfaction when a collector recognizes the significance, understanding the story of the 1965 Washington quarter, the journey from mint to market, the artistry, history, and rarity converging. And finally, as you hold it one last time, imagining future generations doing the same, appreciating its legacy, valuing its journey, understanding the thrill of numismatic discovery, and knowing that coins like this are not just metal, but time capsules, storytelling vessels, bridges to the past, and treasures for the present, connecting collectors across decades, inspiring curiosity, and ensuring that the story of the 1965 United States Washington $quarter coin will continue to captivate, educate, and thrill those who seek the beauty, history, and artistry captured in every coin. And as you prepare for the next chapter in your collection, the adventure only deepens, the excitement continues, and the legacy lives on through your hands and through the eyes of future collectors. Imagine holding a 1973 United States Washington $quarter coin, the cool metal firm in your hand, the familiar profile of George Washington staring boldly forward, the intricate details of his hair, the contours of his face, the precision of John Flanagan's artistry captured in every line, The reverse displaying the American bald eagle with wings spread wide, talons clutching arrows and an olive branch, each feather detailed with care, yet softened by decades of circulation. Imagine examining it under a magnifying loupe, noticing tiny scratches, faint toning, subtle marks from use, each telling the story of its journey through countless hands. Imagine the historical context: 1973 America, a nation amidst economic change, cultural evolution, social milestones, each coin passing through stores, banks, diners, vending machines. Silently witnessing everyday life and history, imagine the thrill as you inspect it, seeing remnants of luster in protected areas, the rim strong, lettering clear, understanding that grading by PCGS and NGC can dramatically influence its numismatic value. Imagine submitting it for certification, careful handling, anticipation, as experts evaluate strike quality, surface preservation, eye appeal, overall grade, the difference between XF, AU, or MS grades determining its place in the collector world. Imagine the subtle minting anomalies that occasionally appear. Doubled dies, repunched mint marks, tiny die cracks, small variations that can turn an ordinary coin into a legendary rarity. Imagine weighing the coin: 5.67 grams, thickness 1.75 millimeters, diameter 24.3 millimeters, measurements essential for authentication. Imagine the satisfaction of precise verification, each detail reinforcing confidence in your treasure. Imagine its journey, from mint to circulation, passing through the hands of countless Americans, observing moments of daily life. Imagine cataloging it meticulously, noting condition, toning, minor scratches, die variations, provenance, preparing it for auction or dealer presentation. Imagining the excitement of sharing its story with fellow collectors, discussing grading nuances, minting details, and preservation methods. Imagine educating newer collectors about careful handling, authentication, and the importance of documentation. Imagine researching auction records, seeing how similar coins performed, anticipating market trends, imagining the satisfaction when recognition and reward are achieved for preserving a piece of history. Imagine holding it gently, appreciating the artistry, imagining how every small toning variation, mark, or scratch contributes to its narrative. Imagining collectors studying it for die varieties, mint anomalies, circulation marks, imagining the thrill of discovering a high-grade specimen among circulated coins, imagining suspense and excitement as hidden treasures reveal themselves, imagining the story in every detail, from rim strength to feather clarity on the eagle, imagining careful evaluation of eye appeal, strike, and surface preservation, imagining the coin's journey from mint to collector, thousands of coins produced in 1973, yet only a few survive in superior condition, imagining subtle toning differences enhancing uniqueness, making your coin stand out among millions. Imagining presenting it to auction houses like Heritage or Stack's Bowers, reputable dealers ensuring serious collectors recognize its significance. Imagining the thrill as bids rise, recognition of condition, rarity, and historical importance, generating intense interest. Imagining the coin connecting generations of collectors, each fascinated by its artistry, history, and journey. Imagining its story continuing through your collection, sharing insights, teaching grading nuances, mint history, storage tips, handling guidance. Imagining excitement as collectors discover subtle die features or minting quirks. Imagining the suspense of uncovering hidden gems in your own collection. Imagining every scratch, toning, and mark, telling a narrative of circulation and preservation. Imagining satisfaction of seeing collectors value it appropriately. Understanding balance of rarity, historical context, and condition. Imagining presence in discussions, presentations, and educational content. Inspiring curiosity, appreciation, and knowledge. Imagining sharing this story on Rare Coins Info. Captivating, educating, thrilling. Imagining future collectors discovering it decades from now, appreciating artistry, condition, rarity, and story, imagining connections between past and present enthusiasts, imagining the coin-bridging generations, preserving history, imagination, artistry, and numismatic legacy, imagining emotional excitement of collectors holding, studying, and appreciating this remarkable piece, imagining story unfolding with each glance, inspection, expert opinion, imagining how professional grading, auction presentation, and careful preservation enhance significance, imagining thrill of knowing your 1973 Washington quarter is more than currency. It is a treasure, a fragment of history, a bridge to American heritage, imagining sharing insights about selling, ensuring it reaches serious collectors, selecting platforms maximizing recognition, imagining emotional satisfaction as a knowledgeable buyer recognizes condition, rarity, and historical significance, excitement building as coin finds its rightful place in a collection, imagining artistry immortalized in 5.67 grams of metal, thickness 1.75 millimeters, diameter 24.3 millimeters, imagining every detail contributing to story, imagining collectors analyzing it for years, discovering nuances, variations, subtleties, imagining suspense and thrill of uncovering secrets, imagining narrative extending far beyond present, connecting past, present, and future collectors, imagining every detail, every mark, every subtle toning contributing to legacy, imagining collectors sharing, learning, buying, selling, appreciating, preserving, imagining excitement of numismatic discovery, education, preservation, imagining story alive on rare coins info, inspiring curiosity and passion, imagining journey continuing, collectors worldwide recognizing value, artistry, history of the 1973 United States Washington $quarter coin, imagining legacy preserved, story shared, thrill experienced, historical and numismatic significance appreciated, adventure never-ending, excitement unceasing, connection between generations strengthened, artistry, history, rarity celebrated, story living on through collectors, enthusiasts, educators, imagining coin as vessel of history, bridge across decades, treasure inspiring wonder, appreciation, passion, imagining every detail analyzed, every nuance discovered, every collector captivated, imagining journey continuing infinitely as coin travels, educates, inspires, preserves legacy of American numismatic history, imagining your coin at center of narrative, connecting collectors, generations, enthusiasts through artistry, history, rarity, story, imagining story never ending, excitement never ceasing, legacy everlasting, adventure eternal, imagining 1973. United States Washington $quarter coin, securing place as one of the most fascinating, cherished, celebrated quarters in American numismatic history. Imagine holding a 1995 United States Washington $quarter coin, the cool metal firm in your hand, the familiar profile of George Washington staring forward with timeless dignity, the delicate details of his hair, the contours of his face, and the subtle artistry of John Flanagan perfectly captured in mint, the reverse displaying the American bald eagle, wings stretched wide, talons clutching arrows and an olive branch, each feather finely sculpted yet softened by circulation. Imagine examining it under a magnifying loupe, noting the smallest scratches, faint toning, subtle marks from decades of hands and pockets, each mark telling the story of a coin that has journeyed through countless Americans. Imagine the historical context. 1995. America, a nation experiencing economic growth, technological advances, cultural evolution, each coin passing silently through transactions, stores, banks, vending machines, quietly witnessing the rhythms of everyday life. Imagine your excitement as you inspect it, seeing remnants of luster in protected areas, the rim intact, lettering clear despite decades of circulation, understanding that professional grading by PCGS and NGC dramatically influences the numismatic value. Imagine submitting it for certification, careful handling, anticipation as experts. Evaluate strike, surface preservation, eye appeal, overall grade. The difference between XF, AU, or MS grades, determining its place in the collector world. Imagine the thrill of spotting subtle minting anomalies, doubled dies, repunched mint marks, die cracks, tiny variations that can elevate an ordinary coin to rare and legendary status. Imagine weighing the coin, 5.67 grams, thickness, 1.75 millimeters, diameter 24.3 millimeters, measurements essential for authentication. Imagining satisfaction as precise scales and calipers confirm its legitimacy, every detail reinforcing your confidence in this treasure. Imagine the coin's journey from the Denver Mint to circulation, thousands produced, yet only a few surviving in excellent condition. Imagine cataloging it meticulously, noting condition, toning, minor scratches, die variations, provenance, preparing it for auction or dealer presentation. Imagining the excitement of sharing its story with fellow collectors, discussing grading nuances, minting intricacies, preservation techniques. Imagine educating newer collectors on careful handling, authentication, and documentation. Imagining how this coin teaches lessons about rarity, circulation, and historical significance. Imagine researching auction records, observing how similar coins performed, anticipating market trends, imagining satisfaction when recognition and reward are achieved for preserving history. Imagine holding it gently, appreciating the artistry, imagining every scratch, toning variation, and mark contributing to its narrative. Imagining collectors examining it for die varieties, mint anomalies, circulation marks. Imagining thrill of discovering a high-grade specimen among circulated coins. Imagining suspense and excitement as hidden treasures reveal themselves. Imagining the story embedded in every detail, from rim strength to feather clarity on the eagle, imagining careful evaluation of eye appeal, strike, and surface preservation, imagining the coin's journey from mint to collector, knowing that thousands were struck in 1995D, yet only a few survive in top condition, imagining subtle toning differences enhancing uniqueness, making your coin stand out among millions, imagining presenting it to professional auction houses such as Heritage or Stack's Bowers, or reputable dealers, ensuring serious collectors recognize its significance, imagining the thrill as bids climb, recognition of condition, rarity, and historical importance creating intense excitement, imagining the coin connecting generations of collectors, each fascinated by its artistry, history, and journey, imagining its story continuing through your collection, sharing insights, teaching grading nuances, mint history, storage tips, handling guidance, imagining excitement as collectors discover subtle features, die varieties, or minting quirks, imagining suspense of uncovering hidden gems in your own collection, imagining every scratch, toning, and mark telling the narrative of circulation and preservation, imagining satisfaction of seeing collectors value it appropriately, understanding the balance of rarity, historical context, and condition, imagining presence in discussions, presentations, and educational content, inspiring curiosity, appreciation, knowledge, imagining sharing this story on Rare Coins Info, captivating, educating, thrilling, imagining future collectors discovering it decades from now, appreciating artistry, condition, rarity, story, imagining connections between past and present enthusiasts, imagining coin bridging generations, preserving history, imagination, artistry, and numismatic legacy, imagining emotional excitement of collectors holding, studying, and appreciating this remarkable piece, imagining story unfolding with each glance, inspection, expert opinion, imagining how professional grading, auction presentation, and careful preservation enhance significance. Imagining thrill of knowing your 1995D Washington quarter is more than currency. It is a treasure, a fragment of history, a bridge to American heritage. Imagining sharing insights about selling, ensuring it reaches serious collectors. selecting platforms, maximizing recognition, imagining emotional satisfaction as a knowledgeable buyer recognizes condition, rarity, historical significance, excitement building. As coin finds its rightful place in a collection, imagining artistry immortalized in 5.67 grams of metal, thickness 1.75 millimeters, diameter 24.3 millimeters, imagining every detail contributing to story, imagining collectors analyzing it for years, discovering nuances, variations, subtleties, imagining suspense and thrill of uncovering its secrets, imagining narrative extending far beyond present, connecting past, present, and future collectors, imagining every detail, mark, subtle toning contributing to legacy, imagining collectors sharing, learning, buying, selling, appreciating, preserving, imagining excitement of numismatic discovery, education, and preservation, imagining story alive on rare coins info, inspiring curiosity and passion, imagining journey continuing, collectors worldwide recognizing value, artistry, history of the 1995 United States Washington $quarter coin, imagining legacy preserved, story shared, thrill experienced, historical and numismatic significance appreciated, adventure never ending, excitement unceasing, connection between generations strengthened, artistry, history, rarity celebrated, story living on through collectors, enthusiasts, educators, imagining coin as vessel of history, bridge across decades, treasure inspiring wonder, appreciation, passion, imagining every detail analyzed, every nuance discovered, every collector captivated, imagining journey continuing infinitely as coin travels, educates, inspires, preserves legacy of American numismatic history, imagining your coin at the center of this narrative, connecting collectors, generations, enthusiasts, through artistry, history, rarity, story, imagining story never ending, excitement never ceasing, legacy everlasting, adventure eternal, imagining, 1995. United States Washington $quarter coin, securing its place as one of the most fascinating, cherished, and celebrated quarters in American numismatic history, imagining cliffhangers in its grading, minting subtleties, potential anomalies awaiting discovery, imagining collector curiosity, imagining viewers of rare coins info captivated, inspired, and educated, imagining the thrill of uncovering hidden stories, understanding circulation history, and the legacy preserved in this single quarter, imagining the excitement of sharing it with the world, educating, captivating, and thrilling collectors while connecting generations and preserving the artistry, history, and legacy of American coinage for decades to come.